You were late this
You
time.
apologize
You were
to these
late.
fine people.
You were late
You did
this
not
time.
plug in the microphone. You have one job before the show starts, and that's plug in the microphone.
The microphone was plugged in.
Microphone was not plugged in.
Now,
Wait a minute. No one's even here. We had a whole argument, and no one saw it. Except for the mighty fine people that replay gang us.
For shame, for shame, for shame.
You know what? I'll wait. Look, we already have a like, but no one. We have a like before someone said hi. Mama, read.
Hello.
All the Tennessee people are on time. Mama's in Tennessee. Rita's in Tennessee.
Interesting. Somebody else has got to say hi before we start. Okay. Well,
Now, next time you plug the microphone in, so we're not late, bro. I'm getting ready to press the button. I'm like, hey, bro, plug in the microphone.
It was plugged in.
No, it was not.
I just had to set it.
The blue light thingies were not on the thingy.
I did not turn it on. It was already on.
It wasn't turned on. Rosie!
I said it was already on. Now, once we get some more people.
See, your mistake was you warned me and gave me time to prepare a defense.
Okay.
Wait, we're waiting on Judge Eric.
Eric, wake up.
Mr. Judge Eric, present yourself with your gavel, sir. Dun dun dun. People's Court. Dun dun dun.
All right.
Where Tony Myers is getting ready to again falsely accuse Brother CJ.
And CJ is going to falsely try to talk his way out of it.
It's called defense lawyers, sir.
Oh, you just aligned yourself. Mm-hmm.
I have watched enough court shows. I could honestly probably be a defense lawyer. Between Lincoln Lawyer, Suits LA.
I would be cousin Vinny.
Lord have mercy.
Oh. All right. So
present your case, sir, without telling the full story, because I know you're not going to tell the full story, because you're only going to
the full story is this.
Here we go.
Mr. CJ, and this is Mr. April Fool's Day himself.
The self-appointed king of April Fools.
The self-appointed king of April Fools.
Even though you have admitted I'm the king of pranks. Go ahead. Is there any contest that I am the king of pranks? No objections? Good. Okay, it's on the record. Jury, you do not have to deliberate that.
Anyhow, he left you all with a false
here we go.
impression.
Not the full story.
With a false impression.
Not the full story.
That he had
objection.
A pizza.
Objection.
Upstairs.
Objection.
Waiting on me.
Where's the judge? I have an objection.
After
unless you're pranking the doctors and coming back from the dead. Samantha, you're new. I'll forgive you.
No, Samantha. You are right.
Not right.
Kudos.
Not right. Go on.
So, after he said, well, you've gone this whole show and I've had the pizza wafer, because normally when we have pizza,
objection.
We do it beforehand, right?
Objection.
And so he makes this big show of it at the last minute. So I get suddenly hungry. Once the camera's
wow,
off,
lie, because one, your stomach growled.
harassing
Your
witness,
stomach growled
argumentative.
your stomach growled at the 23-minute mark.
Sit down and let him speak.
I am sitting. Another lie. People, y'all seeing this? Go ahead.
So I'm like, all right, CJ, go get me the pizza. Oh, I didn't get it. Oh, I forgot to say April Fools on camera. Ha ha ha. Now, I rest my case. You're found guilty, and we are going to hang you.
The full story.
That was the full story.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God here, is number one, Tony forgets the best pranks are spur of the moment and not planned out. We had talked, I presented a potential idea.
I may say it was failure. Failed.
I had the idea of faking like we were going to have a last show and we were going to be done. Tony tried to argue and try to make a big old plan. And once you try to plan something, there's no cohesiveness, and the joke was going to be stupid. Okay.
No, the way you
hold
were
on,
playing.
Hold on. Ooh, Rita used to be a paralegal. Yes. So the full story is I was trying to come up with a plan to prank everyone because,
your objection was overruled, CJ.
You shut it. And Rita's not always right. Okay. Because she puts periods and commas in there and you don't read punctuations.
Objection overruled, CJ.
Anyway. So we were trying to come up with a plan to prank everyone. Tony's stomach was growling at the 23-minute mark. And that's when I said, oh, there was. I had pizza.
Overruled.
No.
Unbeknownst to me.
Did I lie? No.
Yes.
There was a pizza upstairs.
But then
it was already halfway down to my belly. Come on.
As you pointed out, it was not meant for me. Therefore, that is deception. A bullfast
because you ruined my prank that was going to get every single person here crying and snotting.
Which we don't believe funny. Then wouldn't have been funny.
It would have been hilarious.
Not the way you wanted to do it.
Lord have mercy. Because you're wrong. Because you're a grumpy old man who don't know how to prank people. Because you tried to park at the abandoned house next door at one time. Failed. You tried to prank me there. Failed. Every one of your pranks has failed because you ain't the king. So you got April Fooled again.
Judge Rita rules.
No, paralegal Rita. She's not even a lawyer. She's a paralegal.
Wait a minute. Now all of a sudden she ain't even a lawyer? Yes, she is.
Paralegal. Not a lawyer.
I promoted her. You're promoted to judge.
Nope.
Judge Rita. All right.
Go to Google.
You're ruling. CJ gets hung.
R-A. Paralegal. A legal professional who assists lawyers in various tasks, often involving legal research, document preparation, and client communication.
In other words, she knows more than most lawyers.
And look, Rita's trying to get everyone involved. You were pranked. Get over it because you ruined.
It wasn't funny.
Because you ruined.
It wasn't even
the
funny
joke that was going to get everyone. You won't even let me talk.
No one knew.
You are out of order. Where's the gag?
You open your mouth one more time,
Ah,
and they gonna put you in contempt of court. Contempt.
You got April Fooled.
Conduct of retort.
You were April Fooled again because you ruined the joke from everyone else. And I didn't shower yet.
No. All right.
Mama says you're wrong.
She's biased. She took herself out.
It's called recusation. She recused herself. See, you think you know it all and you don't.
Excluded herself. All right.
Case dismissed. You lost.
Guilty.
Yes.
Guilty.
Case dismissed
Guilty.
by Judge Rita out of the words out of your own mouth. Thank you, Rita. Case dismissed means defense wins.
No, it don't. Now. Thank you, Eric. Eric is the new judge. The case was taken to a higher court. Guilty.
First of all, Eric's in Canada and has no jurisdiction on American soil because they're not the 51st state yet. But by golly, the Gulf of America, he would be. You done lost based on your appointed judge. So no one has sympathy for you or compassion, which is what we should have been talking about the whole time. Because Rita had compassion for the defense and dismissed the case.
Prejudice. The judge is out of line.
You lost again, bro. 1-0. 1-0. 1-0.
All right. So.
I need a cigar. I just beat Tony on the live stream and everyone saw it.
No, you overrode me by your booming voice, Mr. Deceptor. All right.
The king of pranks.
No, there was nothing funny about it. Nobody knew it was a
Mom,
prank.
Rita already ruled, case dismissed. But Rita, we all know in dismissal that means
I did buy my own pizza. Thank you very much. Did I buy my own pizza today, or did I get something?
You said you're going to that new ownership place in Virginia. Same name, new owners.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it did give me a pizza. Okay.
I don't know if you did or not, but that's where you said you were going.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Hold on, but Rita, everyone knows when a case is dismissed, that means the prosecution lost because their argument was stupid.
All right.
So you had some compassion for Rita, who you appointed as judge, and you lost.
21st. The Reckoning with Love is coming out. I don't have no Little Caesars on my way home.
Ooh.
I gotta go that way, but I gotta go that way. And so it don't work out like that.
When I switch to T-Mobile, if T-Mobile wants to sponsor us, I gladly will. They do this thing where every Tuesday they announce deals with like companies.
Oh.
And Little Caesars is on there for like a free Italian cheeseburger with the purchase of a pizza. You got a free coupon just because I'm a T-Mobile customer.
Yeah, but that's
awesome.
I don't want to go that way. I want to go that way. And so no, I don't go out of my way.
That's what happens when you live in the north.
I go that way.
That way.
One of them ways.
That way. The front of the house is that way, so you're going that way. Yes, Little Caesars. If Little Caesars, hey, Linda, I will read your comment when Little Caesar sponsors us and we have to put a commercial in every episode. Hit me up, Little Caesars.
All right. So, 21st, Reckoning with Love, Journey, the Healing Journey of an Atheist.
That's Monday, by the way.
Is it? Okay. That's when it's coming out. All right. So, let's talk about this. And this came up because of Samantha.
Not your fault, Samantha.
I love her. I love her questions. And so I thought we needed to cover it a little bit more in detail. Because especially, for example, and how's Tim doing, by the way, Eric?
We know he's better.
Yes. It's polite to ask, mister. Okay. So.
Hello, Mary.
Hello, Mary. And this is a huge thing, is because especially if it's someone close to you, a son, like in Eric's case.
Boom.
We already knew that.
Oh, but when I say it, I'm wrong.
No, I was being polite.
Well, guess what? I'm being confetti-fied. I don't know what really close to amazing means, but because everything is amazing.
That's amazing.
What is dog bigs?
Dog bigs into
what kind of Canadian French word is that?
Sorry, big teeth bites in his ass. That's what "our" means. "Our" means ass. Okay.
Arm.
Arm.
Eric, one monitor at a time, bro. One monitor at a time. Poor Eric, he's probably got 3 things going on at one time.
But when it's a loved one, what do we think? We get into the raw emotions of it. We get into sympathy, which is pathetic. And I'm not judging. This is a natural thing. You think, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You have what I like to call that oh crap moment.
Even cool as a cucumber, Eric, this is your son, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one reason why we're talking about this, because sympathy is pathetic and it's powerless.
Mm-hmm.
Compassion is passion with power.
Sympathy is the path to negative.
And when you're sympathetic, if you remember, the thumbnail was of a woman stroking the other woman's hair, right? Poor thing. Oh, you poor thing. But then compassion stirs up, and you've got the power to change the situation.
That was a good thumbnail. I didn't even look at the thumbnail.
And that's what's hugely important, especially when it's a loved one. And that's why oftentimes what I say is this: while you're speaking life over them, they are a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
That puts you into compassion and out of sympathy, out of the Papa Bear, Mother Bear thing that gets you in the right mindset, takes you out of that emotional downfall, and then you're more likely to see the healing. My best example of this, because everybody knows how I love my dogs. Exactly right. Jesus moved with compassion. He was not stroking anybody's hair saying, "You poor thing." And when we have the power of the Holy Spirit, it's not "you poor thing." I have compassion. I can change the situation. And so the best example I have is with my dog Ariel that passed away at this time last year when I was passing away myself. She died like, I'm a little unclear. It was when I was still in the coma. Anyhow,
that sounds right.
yeah.
You were either in the coma or you were so doped up you may as well have been one of those two.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
So anyhow, this was a couple years ago. Ariel got out, and that's when she was a little bit younger. She got out. She was go chasing the cows and everything else. And I had to leave. And so I left. I was gone about an hour, went back home. She is just sitting in the field, which one, I knew something was wrong right away because when Ariel got out, there wasn't no sitting. She was all over the place. And so I walked out to the field. She couldn't move either leg, either hind leg. So, and of course, I'm speaking life over it. I pick her up, I take her to the house, set her on the couch. I'm speaking life. And I'm like, what in the world? I expected her to jump off the couch. So I was with her all night. She never moved a muscle off the couch at all. I got up in the morning. I'm like, well, I'm going to have to take her to the vets. So I called up the vets. I'm there on the phone with the vets. We make an appointment, which was going to be like in an hour or something. They were like ran or whatever. As soon as I hung up the phone, she jumped off the couch and she was perfectly fine.
I remember the story. That's why it was funny.
And what that goes to show you is that I was indeed sympathetic and not compassionate towards Ariel.
Mm-hmm.
I was scared for her.
It'd be fair to say sympathy is all the leaning towards all the negatives, the "oh is me's" and the
you are
boards
focused on the circumstances
in a negative mindset way.
fear, apprehension, worry, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I didn't think I was.
No.
Listen to me, folks. You don't think you are, right? We got this funny way of rationalizing that stuff. Well, I was believing. That's why I don't say that. And in this circumstances, it goes to show, when did it work? When I was relaxed because I'd made the appointment. Now my mind was off of the symptoms, and bam, she was fine. We don't realize it a lot of times. Sometimes we know it,
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, just the way our little fickle brains work, we don't realize it. And that's also why a lot of times, if you're praying for someone else, and if you know the person or something like that, you tend to lean towards being sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a time and a place for it, but it ain't when you're trying to get someone healed. That's why so often when your reaction, such as another example, is my wife was watching some TV show and some dude got shot. And without even thinking about it, I was like, be healed. I mean, that was my first reaction. And then I realized it was a stupid TV show. But when you react like that, then things happen like that.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee that actor felt good as crap. I'm telling you, whoever it was, I think it was NCIS or something. I don't remember. But that's the difference between sympathy and compassion. Compassion has power. If you're stroking somebody's hair and saying, you poor thing, and you're feeling sorry for them, it is very likely nothing will happen. Now, later on, absolutely it could. But in that moment, no, because you're feeding into that person's already full of fear and worry for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just feeding into that, the lower emotions. And remember, emotions are energy in motion. And so if you yourself are sympathetic and you're feeling whatever lower level emotion, that's what you're sending to the person. You're reinforcing the negative. So that's why it's so important when you have loved ones or any relatives, anybody you're close to, you distance yourself. You view them as a stranger. You feel compassion. You let that swell up along with thanksgiving, gratitude. You take that half of a second, half of a moment, and then you go to it. I mean, I've even suggested, and it depends on the situation, of course, but and a lot of times, if it's truly life or death, a lot of times you act on raw instinct and it's like, bam. But if it's something severe, but not life or death, that's when the sympathy tends to come in because there you have time to think and then you get all emotional and all of that. And so, what I always recommend, if the circumstances allow it, you get out of the room that they're in. When you go back into that room, they're some neighborhood kid, they're a strange kid, right? Then you go, you speak over them, you do it however, led by the Holy Spirit. You leave the room, go back in, then you can be mommy and daddy again. Then you can kiss the little boo-boo and make it go away or whatever you want to do. All right? Huge important. That's why also when I'm speaking life over someone, I do not want to hear their life story. I am not going to listen how bad off they are. I'm not going to let that imagery stick in my mind. I will stop people. I will be like, hold up. I don't need to hear no more. And I will. Because if I allow myself to feel sympathy for them, then I'm not going to be effective. And that's the number one mistake so many people make. They get the wrong sort of bond with someone. They sit and listen too long to their story. Of course, it's terrible and heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you don't need to hear it.
Yep.
You're there to change the circumstances.
Yep.
You can't do that if you've lowered yourself to where they're at. Then you're not doing either one of y'all ain't good. I have been called a hard ass and uncaring and unloving many, many, many times. And that's because I know what it takes. And I would much rather be called a hard ass and say I'm harsh and all this stuff, and that person get healed, than become their friend and the person dies. I'm being straight up. You're not there to be their friend. Once they're healed, you can be their friend. I still have people to this day that call me whenever something's going on. And I would be unable to do that if I had a lovey-dovey relationship with them. And so this is why it is so important to feel compassion and not sympathy. And I always break that down. Sympathy is pathetic, so you remember that. That would drag you in the same muck and dire circumstances and helps no one. If CJ hurt himself and I sat there and let him pull me into his darkness, I couldn't do CJ any good. And likewise, and that's why when I was in the hospital, CJ was an ass to me.
You respond better that way. And I told you that from day one.
Yes.
My favorite one, mutual family friend. You know, the elder had the episode, and the one was trying to explain to me, like, when the ambulance picked them up, they asked the three basic questions. They're like, she was trying to tell me all this stuff. She's like, she didn't even know her birthday. I'm like, look, woman, y'all lie so much about your age. I don't know how old you are, and then I'm in trouble. And to be fair, then the last question, when they're like, well, who's the president? And it was the last president, and she said, I know it ain't Trump. That was the correct answer. I don't care what the ambulance people said. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, when women lie about their age so much you don't know how old they are, it's not your fault. And my phone's going to ring here in about 20 minutes.
Keep digging that hole.
I'll dig that. I will plant that flag proudly. Nope, I'm on top of the hill with that flag planted.
I'm being silent on that topic.
But you know I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
But you know I'm right.
I ain't saying a word.
Anyway.
And it was a few days later after that everything went better.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but that's the truth, folks. When there's something going on with another person, you are not there to be their friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the cold hard truth.
Yep.
Am I going to tell you it's easy? No, I'm not going to tell you it's easy.
No, it ain't easy.
But short of calling someone else who can do it,
Rita again. Point CJ. Thank you, Rita.
but short of calling somebody else who can be compassionate, that's the mindset to be in. You want to be at the higher level frequency, not the lower level. You want your emotions to be full of gratitude, etc., etc. And once again, this goes right back to visualization. If you have to take a moment, just like yesterday while I was speaking over Tim, I was seeing his arm being completely whole. And so you do that. You don't look at the way the person appears right now. You look at the end result. You see them healed. And that helps to get rid of the sympathy, to grab a hold of the compassion, and to see that person healed.
Take it a step further. Eric, he said what happened, but it's not like you plastered a photo of the arm. It was easier to stay in the compassion level versus like if Eric would have done that in an email with a photo of the arm with whatever all was wrong with it. It was easier to stay in the compassion state, where a photo would have been easier to get drugged into the sympathetic
or
state.
Contact 100 people.
Yeah.
Emergency hotline and tell them the story 100 times over and getting all weepy, willow-eyed. Correct. Eric did perfectly the right thing. Yeah. When somebody wants to send me a picture, I'm like, send it to me with the person healthy. I don't want to see it in the position they're in now. Send me a picture when they were healthy, because if it's when they're sick, I'm not going to look at it anyhow. I know better.
Yeah.
And so when my wife gets sick, when my dogs get sick, I'm thinking of them as healthy. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, that's awesome. And that's why I felt like it was important to discuss this, because I guarantee without knowing it, most people fall into the sympathetic here.
Nope. Here's a good question from Miss Rita, the great Judge Rita.
Absolutely, and that's part of the problem why we have problems in getting our own selves healed, because we're so sympathetic to ourselves. It's poor me.
It's so easy to go into a self pity party.
Absolutely right. And once again, that's where you focus on the fact that you are healed. You're not trying to get healed. You see yourself in your mind's eyes healed. You act more out of instinct when that instinct is bam, you're healed. Not the earthly instinct, you poor thing.
Yeah. That'd be like Tony trying to call me and say, I want sympathy for my arm pain because I just got this tattoo. I'm like, you know what you signed up for. No sympathy.
Number one, you never heard that out of me.
It was an example.
I know. I'm just making that clear. As we just saw, the way you exacerbate situations.
Exaggerated nothing. The case was dismissed.
See, I didn't say exaggerate, I said exacerbate.
You make up words too much.
Not made up word. That's a true word. Exacerbate. All right.
Spell it.
See, wrong again.
Spell it. Spell it.
I have no idea. Execerable.
Hey Siri.
Exacerbate.
I didn't get that. Thank you. Siri
No,
doesn't
it is
exist.
a real word.
You don't even know how to use Siri.
Siri.
You can't yell at her like that.
Siri. I need to know the word exacerbate. Right there.
Let me read it.
To increase the severity, bitterness, or violence. You exasperate the situation.
And that's only in your perspective. Okay.
Number one, you were wrong 3 times in a row. Bam, bam, bam.
Case was dismissed. You lost. Get over it. Sheesh. Do you want me off the screen, bro?
You said I didn't know how to use Siri. Wrong.
How many times do you screen at your phone and throw your phone down?
Siri. How often is CJ Hudson wrong?
Never.
You're deaf.
That's the normal response.
You stupid Siri. I'm being a traitor now. My slave.
Will you quit
My
ignoring?
slave.
Will you quit ignoring?
Is CJ, did he exasperate the situation? I want a yes answer right now.
See, you demanded a yes answer from ChatGPT, so you've already painted the picture in the wrong way. Now, are you going to stop ignoring these fine folks because they're putting comments up left and right, and you're ignoring them, being very rude? You're being rude. We're on a live.
Once again, I get called rude all the time.
Well, you are actually being rude in this particular point.
It's on my thing.
It's on my thing. Okay.
We play snooker, Tim and I, every day. And Tim is a pretty good player who wins versus me 70% of the time. This is the time his arm is bandaged up. So he played me with his wrong and our
Still lost.
And I still lost.
Nice.
Does it only then take compassion? That's part of it.
Hold on, there's a part 2. Let's.
It means to make a situation. Oh, that's the other. That one.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Kayla.
Kayla, there is nothing wrong with going back and watching the replay.
You miss a lot of arguing. Okay.
Especially when Tony's already wrong and he's pounding the table.
I ain't pounding the table once. You did.
Shall we?
Wrong again. All right.
What did the Lincoln lawyer said? If you have the facts, pound the facts. If you have the law, pound the law. If you have nothing, you pound the table.
But I do want to bring up, Samantha, my belief, and that is the person that's fast, they're not dead in God's eyes. They still have a choice. And if you if you are in heaven, quote unquote, would you choose to come back? Okay, so I really cannot give a 100% yes to that. Okay, I want to make that perfectly clear because it is my belief. And hello, from I think my opinion raises a little bit more, well, gets a little bit higher on the credibility since I did die and I did come back. So then most of other opinions, I still had the will to live. Thank you, Eric. And he been loud today. Prove my point again.
Go back and watch the replay. I dare you.
You always say that.
Because you never do.
So, I just want people to understand that. I do not believe that you can be doing exactly the right things and the person still not come back and that wasn't anything you did wrong. That's my belief. All right. So I just want to really bring that home. You know, now, because of last year, I've got a little bit more experience with that, and I'm more convinced than ever that that is correct. All right. I just wanted to really, well, I've got a different experience, Eric. The NDEs that I've talked to, they made the choice. Now, some of them would say, no, they didn't want to come back, but that they would. But they had a choice. And to get that, you've got to, when you're talking to some of these people, including myself, you got to muddle through a bunch of stuff because people are working from their own perception. And so you kind of got to muddle through all that and ask the right questions. So, and once again, that depicts a choice. So, and we've covered this a lot of times, but I want to make it clear. You know, if you look at King James Version, it says, and he gave up the ghost, which means he agreed to it. Right? And you will find that scattered all throughout the King James Version. That's about the only thing from the King James Version I like. But, and I think that's accurate. So, let's get back to whatever I was saying before. But that's my belief, is the person is still alive. He is the God of the living, not of the dead. Therefore, they still have a choice. And now we can make that choice with the wrong perspective. But once again, I cannot say and won't say that I'm exactly right. But I do believe I'm close. So,
Just like a lot of people want to say, it's like they want to hold on to someone, not let them go, and using the particular verbiage. Does it play any aspect at all?
Right.
Maybe to me, if it does, it's a very small percentage, if at all.
Right.
If that makes sense.
But I'm not going to say in every case.
Because I know about at least 17 people that were like, nope, we ain't letting go.
Watch the tattoo.
We don't know why.
I'm healing. I can't even hit you because I'm healing. Jeez.
Darn.
All right.
Wait, that art's been done in a while. It's fine.
It's a week and a half.
Fine. That's plenty fine.
It's still healing.
No sympathy. No sympathy.
All right. Yes, he willingly gave up the ghost. That it says that with Jacob. It says it with Isaac. It says it with Abraham. It says it with Jesus, of course. Time and time again, you will see it says he gave up the ghost. All right. So I am a firm, but now most of us, because we have a physical mindset with physical perspectives, we do not realize that our loved ones or ourselves, because of the way we view it as having no choice. There was an actor, old Mr. I'm trying to think which superhero he portrayed. Bullseye. Bullshot. I was going to say bullshit. One of them. Bullseye. What's Bullseye? Is that a superhero dude? He was an actor who portrayed Bullseye. This dude was run over. It was bigger than a snowmobile. There was something even bigger than that, right? He was literally run over by this. There is no way he should have survived, but he survived because he had the will to live. And I listened to his testimony, and even the woman that found him said the same thing. He had the will to live. He refused to die. And if we did that, and we realized we have the choice, no matter how dire it is, and he actually fully recovered when he should have been dead. He had like 43 some bones broken and da 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 da. It was a true miracle, and he should not have lived. But he did not give up the ghost. If we did that, if more of us did that, then guess what? More would be healed, more would survive, etc., etc. Right. All right. So, time and time again. And so the thing is to have the proper perspective, to know it is a choice. And this is not a choice I'm going to judge or condemn, because hello, I've been there a few times. Yeah, I think you're right. I think so. I think that's who it was. But he should not have survived. I shouldn't have survived. So it's a choice. Get that in your hearts. You have a choice. And then if something happens, guess what? It is likely you will live. Because it goes from heart belief, and you've got to remember, and works off of perception. All right. Your body and your conscious mind is not conscious, but your spirit is still conscious, and it works from what your spirit believes and what your perception was. I wish I could explain a little bit better, but I don't have the words yet. But in those cases, what you believe prior to that has everything to do with it. If you believe you have the choice and you're choosing to live, and then bam, all of a sudden I get shot by a sniper. I'm telling you, I'm going to live because that's the truth I was operating under at that time. There you go. That's very good language. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That's the truth I was operating under at that time. So, therefore, that's what will happen. On the other hand, if something happens and you believe, hey, if your head gets cut off, you got no choice, you're dead, right? And then you get shot, what's going to happen? Your perception was you have no, you have no, help, no choice in the matter. Then guess what? You don't have a choice because you made it.
Because you done made up your mind, you ain't gonna survive it.
So, uh, yeah, exactly right. Now, I don't believe that the snowplow was actually engaged at the time. But anyhow, so that's right now with where my language is at. That's the best way I can explain it. And the problem is, most of us think we don't have a choice. Most of us think that the physicality always wins. If you get shot in the heart, you're dead.
No, most of us use the cop out of God's will.
Oh, yeah. True. Y'all gonna get me going on that?
No, I'm hungry.
Who asked you? I got a pizza in the car for you. April Fools!
And I'll believe that when it turns purple and smells like rainbow sherbet.
All right. Any questions, statements, comments? Check out the Facebook. I completely explain every card. And if you still want to judge me, whatever, you need your head examined. Okay. With that, stay tuned Monday. Monday's when the book will be published. And actually, the publisher, right before I come here, I checked the mail. She sent me a TWS coffee mug. Pretty cool. All right. Be blessed.
Be healed.
Yes, I speak life right now. Thank you, Jesus. And you know you can always call me, Kayla. All right. Where were we?
And be
Heal.
blessing.
Be blessed. Be healed. Be a blessing.
That's where we were at.
All right.
Love y'all.